Hello, I'm Dave Hodgson and this is the making of my anatomically correct facial muscle rig. Okay, the first task that I had to do to make this how I wanted was to get a lot of research. I looked at Grey's Anatomy heavily and also Anatomy TV, which is a very good 3D program that the university no longer has access to, but I made good use of it while I could. I looked at the muscle groups and building them up from starting with the most important skeletal muscles and then onto the ones that affected the skin the most. On my first version of the rig, I just wanted to get the jaw muscles working nicely, and I put both of the pectoral muscles in, the lateral and medial ones, and also the masseter, which closes the jaw, and the temporalis, which is the muscle that you can feel moving when you just put your finger on your temple whenever you move your jaw. And if we move the jaw up and down, you see those muscles work together and with each other. I decided to use cat muscles after testing out some muscle systems in Maya. I found that the controls meant that I could use them a lot easier, and creating the size and volume that was correct for each muscle was a lot easier. I also decided to create some eyes to help with expression. When I created the rig, one of the most important things that I was looking at was the facial action coding system that was developed by Paul Ekman. Basically it shows what muscles act on any part of the face at any one time. I highlighted all the ones that would be important to me for the 6 emotions that I decided to portray. I decided to portray the 6 universal emotions that are instantly recognizable, those being happiness, sadness, fear, anger, disgust and surprise. And I went and created myself some quick reference sheets so I could quickly reference which muscles were being used at any one time. And when I created the rig, I labelled up everything so that you'd be able to see what everything was. My initial tests, I tried making the lips with cat muscles as well, but I found this didn't give me the level of control I needed for them, as they're moving quite a few different ways. Instead, I modelled some lips which I then skinned to all of the affecting muscles, and that produced a much nicer result that was a lot more easily deformable in the positions that I needed it to. I created some look at targets so we could move the eyes around, as well as controls for the eyelids in there as well, and worked on the further into the brow, the cheek muscles and the muscles pulling on the lips. The main areas that I needed to focus on were the eyebrows and lips, because that's the most used in expressions. On the nose, the only real important ones are the one that wrinkles the top of the nose when we frown, and these muscles that are connected to the lips also flare the nostrils, so those were the only important ones to do with the nose. And I mapped out quickly which ones I'd use for each of the expressions that I wanted to do. I also got a lot of created a lot of reference, took banks of photos from the internet and from friends of each of the expressions in action, so I could see what part of the face was being used at every time. And the final rig, I tried to apply all that and created a lot of helpers to move the rig more easily. If you needed to move the lips, for example, I've got these helpers that can move the corners of the lips, or the tops, the bottoms. Also, we can pull the jaw down. And I created controllers on the brow so we could move that at any time. and created the muscles to work with each other on each of these bits, so that the muscles that should be pulling at any one point or relaxing at any one point are doing their job. So whenever the depressor is relaxing, the corroborator should be pulling. And this rig will cycle through the important expressions that I've mapped. That one's discussed there, which is the only asymmetrical expression. Every one of the other ones is supposed to be mostly symmetrical, depending on the person, but the most honest versions of them, according to the research I did from Ekman, are always symmetrical, aside from discussed here. Okay, that's my making of. Thanks very much for watching.